All right, so you did your exit slips, had them, you checked them, put your grading pin back. Now you need your whiteboard and dry erase marker. On the video, as they're doing the exercises, you need to be doing the exercise on the whiteboard so you can practice the task. I'm going to shut the light off. I'm going to set a timer so I don't go over. Facebook, or not Facebook, YouTube does not like that. Um, so remember, watch the video, get your dry erase board and marker out, and do these exercises.
What up, everybody? Instructor B back again here with another fraction lesson. Today we're going to be talking about representing fractions on a number line. So let's build it up and see what our objective is today. Our objective today I will be able to represent a fraction on a number line by using an area model to guide me. But before we get into that, let's take a look at our math vocabulary. If you've been watching the last couple videos with us, this will be a review. But here's a fraction, right? And a fraction is made up of two numbers and then a little line in the middle of it. And our top number is called the numerator. Our bottom number, or the number that's down, is called the denominator. Our denominator tells us how many pieces one whole is split into. And our numerator tells us the number of unit fractions that make up our fraction that we're talking about. If you need a review lesson on that, check out our other lessons on unit fractions and what a fraction is. But we're going to be using this terminology as we dive into our lesson today. Now, we can use fractions to represent values less than one whole, right? That's what we first start using fractions for before we move on to more advanced topics. So let's take a look at how we can represent 4, 6 a couple different ways. And the first couple are going to be area models, okay? So here we have a rectangular area model. I like to think about area models as kind of like the whole brownie, because I like food. And here we have another rectangular area model, or brownie. And you can see that I split them up into 6 equal pieces. Now, it doesn't matter if they're split just up and down or up and down and horizontal, right? As long as you take the whole and you split it into 6 equal pieces, because that's what our denominator said, and each of these would be worth 1/6, right? 1/6 is our unit fraction. And then if I wanted to represent 4/6, that means I need 4 unit fractions filled in, right? That's what my numerator tells me. I'm going to have 4 here and then another one right here, okay? And this area model now represents 4/6. I also could do it this way, okay? And just to show you a couple different ways, there you go. That could be 4/6. Again, I have 4 unit fractions shaded in. And we also know we can represent fractions using a circular area model. So again, just back on the food theme, I like to think about a circle as a pizza, right? So if I had a pizza and I split it into 6 equal pieces, right? That's why my denominator is 6. And then each of these would be worth one of those 6. Again, so my unit fraction is 1/6. And then if I wanted to make 4/6, I would need to shade in 4 unit fractions, right? My unit fractions are the building block of my fraction, right? My numerator 4 tells me that I needed 4 unit fractions shaded in. Now, for some reason, we all feel pretty comfortable with our rectangular area models, or brownies as I call them, and then our circular area models, or pizza, right? But when we come to representing fractions on a number line, sometimes we freak out. So here you see that I have 0 and 1 on my number line, right? And then I have it split into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equal pieces, and each one of these would be worth 1/6. So if I wanted to represent 4/6, I'd start at 0, right? And I'd want to shade in 1, 2, 3, 4 unit fractions, just like I did for my area model. And I could represent 4/6 on a number line. And one of the reasons a lot of us don't like number lines is because it's kind of hard to make, right? We end up making a number line that looks something like this, right? We do something like that, and we're like 6, and we do something like that, and you have this part, and it's way bigger than that part, and you end up writing your fractions, and by the time we get done, it kind of just looks like a squabbled mess, and we don't like it, right? It's not neat. Well, that's what our lesson is about today. How can we make a good number line to represent a fraction? Well, let me tell you a story to help you visualize what we're going to be talking about today. Elijah wanted to make some brownies in the oven. So here's our oven. He mixes the batter. He puts the brownies in, right? They come out 30 minutes later, and they're delicious. And he cuts one whole brownie out, and he puts it on this brown chair for his brother, Alexander. So a little while later, here comes Alexander. He doesn't see the brownie because it's blended in with the chair, and he sits down on it. As you can see, he's kind of happy, but that's because he doesn't know he's sitting in a brownie, right? You don't want to stand up and have brownie on the back of your pants. People may be a little concerned about what happened, right? And so he sits down on the brownie, and at first our brownie was nice and fluffy right out of the oven. It was still warm, and when he sat on it, he flattened it, right? And so our brownie went from looking like this nice fluffy brownie to this really flat brownie, right? And the question is, what's different about the brownie? The answer really is nothing. It's just flattened, right? You can still eat it, although I don't advise it, right? It's still the same length. It just got flattened. It just kind of got smushed. And it's still a brownie. So this is kind of the relationship between a rectangular area model and a number line. They're really the same thing, just one is flattened. So I want you to take a look at this key thought and pause the video and write this down in your notes, right? Just like I said, a number line is just like a flattened area model. They show the same thing, right? So if we can make an area model, we can make a number line using these steps. So here are the steps for making your number line awesome. Thinking about what we just learned from our brownie story, an area model number line really show the same thing. So step number one, we're going to draw our rectangular area model, okay? Because we're pretty good at that. We know how to make those pretty easy. Step number two, we're going to split it up, but we're going to split it up vertically, okay? So all our lines when we split up are going to go up and down, and I'll show you an example of this in a second. Step number three, underneath our area model, we're going to draw our number line and label it with 0 in one hole. And then step number four, we're going to use our area model to help us split the number line in the same places and then label it. So let's take a look at these steps in action. So I want to represent the fraction 2/3 using a number line. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a nice big rectangular area model, or a brownie if you will, okay? And I'm going to split it up vertically and shade it in. So my denominator is 3, that means I need 3 equal pieces, right? And I'm going to label each of these 1/3 because this is my unit fraction, right? Each piece is 1/3, which means my total brownie would be 3/3 or 1 whole. And now underneath of this, I'm going to start my number line where my brownie started, and I'm going to end it where my brownie ends, or my rectangular area model ends. There we go, and I'll label this 0 and 1. Okay? So now step number 4, I'm going to use my area model to split the number line in the same places. So if I split my brownie or my area model here, I'm going to split it directly underneath of that, right? So I'm using the lines from my area model to help me split my number line up. And now I can see that this part is 1/3, this part is 1/3, and this part is 1/3, right? My unit fraction is the same. My 1 whole on my number line is still split into 3 equal pieces. So I'm using my knowledge that a number line is really just a smushed area model. If I can make an area model, I can make a number line, right? My 1/3 pieces are the same size, except it's just flattened, like the brownie when it got set on. It's still a brownie, it's just flattened. It's still an area model, it's just flattened. So now if you wanted to label this from 0 to 1, right, that would be 1/3. And then if I add another unit fraction here, that would make this 2/3. And if I add another unit fraction of 1/3, that would make it 1 whole, or 3/3, right? So now if I want to represent 2/3, I would need 2 unit fractions. There we go. If I wanted to represent my number line, I'm going to shade in 2 of my unit fractions from 0, right? So 0, 1/3 plus 1/3, right? Those are my 2 unit fractions, which brings me right here to 2/3. So you can see I've shaded that in. So I've used my area model to help me with my number line. So here we have our U-try problem, okay? If you're new to Instructmetrics, what you're going to do in a second is you're going to pause the video, try this one by yourself, and then push play to check your work. So we want to represent the fraction 5/6 using a number line, of course, following our steps. So you should use the area model first, and then use that to make your flattened area model, or the number line. Go ahead and pause the video, and then push play when you're ready. going to be 6. I like to label my unit fractions because I know unit fractions are the building blocks of my fractions that I'm trying to represent. I'm going to shade in 5 of those unit fractions because my numerator was a 5. And now underneath of this, I'm going to draw my number line, I'm going to start it right where it starts and end it right where it ends. And I'm going to use my area model to help me split my number line to make sure that my pieces are equal sizes, okay? So here's 0, and here's 1. I forgot to do that. I'm going to label each of my spaces, not the lines, for my unit fractions, right? Because the spaces are the parts of your number line. So now I can go back and I can label my number line. If I had 1 unit fraction, that'd be 1/6. If I had 2 unit fractions, that'd be 2/6. 3 unit fractions, 3/6. I'm going to have 4/6 right here, 5/6. And then if I had 6 unit fractions, I'd have 1 whole, or 6/6. Now eventually you won't have to label unit fractions as you get really good at this. You'll just know that those are unit fractions. But as you start, the biggest problem with number lines is people count the lines and not the spaces. Your unit fractions are the spaces. So we want to make sure we label that unit fraction to help you remember that, because we're always counting the spaces, not the lines. So I need to do 5 unit fractions. So I'm going to start at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which brings me to 5/6, which is the fraction I was trying to represent. So here's your key thought to take away from this lesson. If you're really struggling to make number lines, a number line is just like a flattened area model, right? Just like somebody sat on it and flattened it in a chair, right? They show the same thing. So make your area model, and then underneath of it, make your number line until you get the hang of it. Thank you so much for checking us out today. We know there's lots of different options online. We really appreciate.
All right. So now you should be in your notebook. You need a pencil. Eventually you'll need some colored pencils. Let me fix my notebook real quick. Since I'm one-handed, I gotta put my little flaps up so that they'll be easier to maneuver. Okay. All right. So you should be on this page where it says fraction number lines. Under each flap, draw a number line and plot the fraction on the line. So make sure you're on 3/4. If they're out of order, you're just gonna have to find it. And there's some more over here. So 3/4. So pencil and draw your number line, however long you want it to be. Oh, that wasn't very good. Zero. And the far side is 1. And then find the middle. Now we have 2 pieces, but we need 4ths. So there's 2 more over there, 2 more make 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's label it. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. And it says to plot it. So plotting is with the dot, 3/4. So there it is. Make sure you put your dot. Next one, 1/3. The bottom number, remember, tells you how many total pieces you need. Equally divided pieces. Alright, so draw your number line. The ends of your number line. Remember, it goes to 1. This one starts at 0. And we need thirds. thirds are a little harder to do. So you might have to erase multiple times. Something you develop with practice. So it's not really, just try to eyeball it, see how it looks equal. Let's label it 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. And they want 1/3 to be plotted. Next one is 2/6. Draw your line, make it straight. You have lines on your notebook, so that helps. My number lines tend to get longer if the pieces get more. So 0, 1, and there's 6. So do half. Now we have 2. And then knowing that 3 plus 3 is 6, these are thirds. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Label all your tick marks. And it wants you to plot 2, 6. Put a big dot on that tick mark. Next one over here, same thing. So it's fourths, 0, 1. If we cut one piece in half, then we get 2. If we cut that in half, we get another 2 and another 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Label your tick marks. And it said to plot 1/4. 2/3. Denominator tells us how many pieces. We need 3. Just try your best on spacing them correctly. Label your tick marks. Even the last one. And 2 is where we're plotting. 4, 6. The line's going to be a little longer because there's more pieces. So remember, divide it into 2. And then we need 3 on one side, 3 on the other to make 6. So we're thirds. And then label your tick marks. And we plot at the 4. My timer is going to go off soon. So, let me get my paper just go down a little bit better. This paper, you'll just do that whenever I come back. It's just coloring. There's nothing to do on that. And so we'll do that whenever I come back. Now on this information, we're not rolling any dice, but I'll give you the information so you can fill it in. Let me get my papers. So, all right. For number 1, you have 2 tallies. Number 2, you have 1 tally. 3, you have 5 tallies. 4, you have 1. For 5, you have 5 tallies. And then for number 6, you got 4. Now I want you to fill this part in. If my video ends soon, so this is going to be homework. You can do it in class. Okay, so this is what it's asking. Fractions, or fraction of times rolled. So in order to know what that bottom number is, you need to add the total number of times that you rolled. That would be the bottom number. The top number is going to be however many times you rolled that number. So first we add all these together, and then we just look at them separately. 2 would be the numerator, 1 would be the numerator, 5, and so on. And then the fraction of times not rolled. So that's when you'll take the numbers of times that you rolled it, subtract it from the total, which is your denominator, and that is going to be your numerator, whatever that answer is. So for instance, if all these add up to 20, well, the number of times that you didn't roll a 1 is 18, because 20 minus 2, so 18 would be your numerator. Now you'll have to add those numbers up. I just threw that number out there, so you'll have to do the work on that. So I just put my fraction bar there, and you do the rest for homework. Okay? And then when I come back, we'll do that coloring page that I said we'll skip, and then we'll also move on to task cards for the number lines. Love y'all. See you Tuesday. Bye.